buenos días, buenas tardes, buenas noches, buenos días, buenas tardes, buenas noches, buenos días, buenas tardes, buenas noches, buenos días, buenas tardes, buenas noches. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are at the time that you are listening or watching this podcast. Oh Lord, I can't talk this morning already and I just started. How are y'all doing? How's everything going? I know I missed Wednesday. Don't know what happened. I remembered in the morning, I was like, all right, let me record this podcast now. But then something happened and I did the homeschooling and then the rest of the day just went by. And literally like last night when I was going to go to bed, it was like 10 something at night. And I'm like, oh, I didn't do my podcast. I was like, today's Wednesday and I didn't even show up. Like, oh man, I felt so bad. Not like, I don't know, but I felt bad because I'm trying to be consistent on my stuff and I really cannot believe that I honestly forgot. I'm sorry, you guys. I apologize for that. I hope y'all forgive me. But in case if you don't know who I am and you're new to my channel or to my podcast, hi, my name is Lynette and I'm a life coach for parents. This platform carries two things. It carries my life and the trials and tribulations that it is raising two high-functioning autistic children with mental illness and an atypical preschooler, along with my own mental illness and the trials and tribulations that I go through as a parent. But I also put in content that goes with my coaching business because I am a life coach for parents. So I throw in content here or there pertaining to the life coaching business. I'm always offering my services to anybody that's out there listening or watching. I'm just a phone call away. You can always book that free call with me to see how I can show up in your life and hopefully make it a lot smoother than what it is. But dudes, I really did forget yesterday and I'm sorry. Like I really do feel bad about that. I had a whole I can still talk about it. It doesn't matter. So we all know, well, everybody should have heard by now, that Ellen's DJ Twitch, had committed suicide. And today on my live on Instagram, I plan to kind of touch bases with that because the holidays are hard for a lot of people. And I deal with suicidal issues myself. And my oldest daughter also deals with suicidal issues as well. My son does too. His is not as severe as hers or mine. But it's a real thing, Like I don't know if you'd be able to tell unless you're somebody who has mental illness as well. You may not even be able to tell either, but I myself am going through a depression season right now. Like I've been trying to fight this depression. Let's see. If I'm being really honest, let's see. I guess you can probably say I've been trying to fight this depression for about 2 months now. 2 months to 2.5 months. And it hasn't been easy because in the past, my depressions are normally, I'm like manic, crying everywhere. I'm all over the place. I'm so stressed out that I don't even know how to function. Like they're usually, if you listen to my old content or if you watch my old content, very aggressive, just very dark, just very negative. And when I started working on myself and when I started working on how I show up on a daily basis as a parent and as a person, I started to let go of a lot of the negative ways and a lot of the negative tendencies and thoughts and things like that would consume my mind. But it's not an easy walk. So it's hard. And anyone who battles with depression and has suicidal tendencies or thoughts or ideations, however you may want to describe it, the battle is even harder because you have that guilt of, well, if I do something to myself, I'm hurting everybody that I love. And then obviously we don't like to hurt our loved ones. But also the world becomes too hard and too heavy to handle. And it becomes too much and too overwhelming. And I don't know about anyone else, but I know in my shoes and in my situation, I've always felt my whole life that I've been misunderstood, misjudged, and it made it even harder, and it makes it even harder for me to have the ability to express myself sometimes. Like, even though I come on here and I talk to you guys and I record my vlogs and I record my podcast and I write my blog and I'm showing up every day on my platforms to motivate other people, I am still a very private person, and I still keep a lot of my emotions to myself. I've noticed that when I do record a content or when I speak about something, it's because I'm already at the edge with it, and I've made a promise, and that promise is to stay on this earth as long as I can without doing anything to take myself out. So when I feel like I'm already at that edge and everything that I'm trying to do for myself isn't working, I'll then come to you guys to put my burdens on your shoulders, because I never know who I can help with my own burdens and my trials and tribulations and my, I don't know the other word I was going to use, but I know how hard it is to be on the other end of the suicidal thoughts and the suicidal desires. I know what it's like to smile in everybody's face and be there for everybody and support them, but deep down inside, you're just dying. You're just slowly dying, and you're slowly trying to keep that mask on where everybody else is seeing you like this happy-go-lucky person with no cares in the world, but in reality, you have all the fears that you can think of and all the worries that you can think of on your forefront, and they're always there, constantly running wheels in your forefront, constantly. The pressure can become a lot, and it's hard to find people that understand. So I'm going to say that one more time. It's hard to find people that understand. Not everybody understands what it's like to live in these type of situations. Most people throw the comment of, well, if they were going to kill themselves, they would have just went ahead and killed themselves and not told anybody. That's not true. That is so not true, because at the end of the day, if we vocalize or we're speaking out, we're taking into consideration the hurt we can cause our loved ones. You know what I'm saying? The stress and the trauma and the drama that it can cause because of those actions that we took. And not just that. It's not like falling off a bike and getting back up and just wiping your knees and keep it pushing. No, once you take that route, there's no coming back from it if you're successful. So those type of thoughts and comments do not help people that deal with it. And if you don't understand it, and if you can't comprehend it, then you should just keep your mouth quiet and not say anything, because you can take somebody over the edge with your thoughts that are inconsiderate and not empathetic. Like, it is a struggle. It is hard. It is hard for me to even get out of bed every single day. It is hard for my daughter to get out the bed every single day. We push because we have our little one, and we have to make sure we try to give her the best that we can and try to be there for her as best as we can. And it's not her fault that our life is not the best right now, and we're living in an extended stay, and we're trying to find more clients and build our income so that we can find a place to live, try to get transportation. She didn't ask to come into this world. I brought her in here. So I got to do my job as her parent to make sure that she can have as best as I can give her. But you would think that'd be enough motivation, right, to keep me from having all these bad negative thoughts. But to be honest with you, it's not. And I'm explaining to you why. In my shoes, at least, because I am in a wheelchair, I feel a bigger burden to my kids. And I feel like, well, maybe they're better off without me. Maybe they'll actually have a place to live, warm beds and food on the table constantly and just have everything that they need and they want if I'm no longer around, because I feel like a burden, like I'm causing problems to my children's lives because I'm no longer that healthy mom that used to run around like a chicken with her head cut off to make sure that her kids were straight, working 2 jobs, doing what I had to do to be on my feet. I don't have the same luxury today that I had 5 years ago, 6 years ago. And that is stressful and that is hard, especially when you go from having your own place and being independent and thriving to struggling, not having a place to call home that's your, like, you know what I'm saying, your own apartment or house to rent or whatever the case may be. Like, it is not easy. And then I can't play with my kids like I used to. I have to find different ways to play with them now because of the wheelchair. Like, it's annoying. It's adds on to the see, they definitely are better off without you. But then on the other side, it's the, your kids will lose their mind if you are not here because you guys are so attached to each other. Like, you're going to hurt them more than you're helping them if you decide to take yourself out of this world. And it's a constant battle from one shoulder to the next shoulder on what I should and shouldn't do. And thank God, knock on wood, I would have made it this far. I done got to see another birthday. I'd have made it this far, but it's not easy. And that's why I wanted to talk about suicidalness, yesterday when I was supposed to record a podcast, but we're doing it today. It's okay. I want you guys to check on your loved ones and your friends. And if you do have that PhD within yourself and in those people that you love, then you should know when things are not okay. You should be able to sense and understand when things aren't right, and just try to be a listening ear. Just try to comprehend, and if you really don't understand, just listen. Just sometimes knowing that we're being heard and someone is listening to us, sometimes that helps out a lot and alleviates a lot of the suicidal presence that's there. But no one should ever have to feel so alone where they can't communicate their concerns or their worries and automatically just go with taking their life. No one should ever have to feel like that should be an option, but unfortunately, a lot of us feel that that is an option. And a lot of us struggle with that option. It's not an easy topic to talk about, and I know a lot of people don't like talking about it. I know a lot of people try to hide it when they, have their urges or their tendencies and things like that, because it's supposed to be like this big stigma. But can we let go of stigmas? Can we just realize that everyone is human and we all go through our things and we're each different and we process things differently and we handle things differently? I mean, can't we just realize that we're human beings and just really be empathetic and be there for each other? Like, when it comes to the mental health community, the community that really needs that vulnerability, that really needs that empathy. Yes. You're going to move my whole computer and everything when you get on the bed, so no. Whole empathy and everything, like, it is hard. It is hard when you're in a cold world and you already feel misunderstood, not heard, not cared about, alone, rejected. It's a lot to cope and deal with everything on your own, and you're trying not to have these thoughts have these power over you, and you're trying not to make a decision that you're going to regret, but then you can't take back if you're successful. It's a lot. It's a lot. Like, Saturday's situation with me, like the whole fire drill and me having almost a whole anxiety attack because I'm stuck on this floor and I'm like, I'm about to burn in this building. I don't know if you guys got to hear that podcast, but on Saturday, we went through the elevator doesn't work when there's a fire. When the fire alarm's going off, how am I going to get to the first floor? I'm on the 3rd floor. I'm going to have to tell my kids to leave me here, and I guess I'll just be burning in this building, is literally the thoughts that ran through my mind. And all I kept thinking was, oh my God, my kids are going to be broken. They're going to be so broken, and I'm going to be leaving them broken. Like, it was such a scary and overwhelming feeling, and my heart was breaking because I didn't want to hurt my kids that way. And then, mind you, this is not me about to commit suicide. This is a fire alarm. I'm thinking the building is on fire because the alarm is going off. These are all the thoughts that are running through my mind. Like, I never wanted to hurt my kids the way I'm going to end up hurting my kids, and it's not even intentional. I done fought this hard to not do anything to myself so I don't hurt my kids, and now I'm about to end up hurting my kids. Like, that's crazy. And then just come to find out, okay, I pulled the fire alarm, but it put me into a severe depression, PTSD, like, state. And my thoughts, like, started coming. Shoo, they started swimming fast. See, this is why we keep telling you they're better off without you. That fire would have been real. They'd have been burning along that building with you because they weren't going to leave you behind, and you done cost 3 young lives, and da-da-da-da-da. Like, there were so many things that were running through my mind that it started bringing my suicidal thoughts into the forefront even more and more and more. And that's not a good thing for a person who's suicidal, because those thoughts can win at any time and you can lose. Those thoughts can become very overpowering at any time where you can't take it anymore, and then you lose that battle. You know what I'm saying? And I just don't want people to feel like they can't open up and say, hey, this is what I'm dealing with. A lot of people keep that suicidal card in their back pocket and don't tell anybody. That's their hidden secret. And then if and when they lose the battle, everybody else is like, what? How? Who? Where? Why? I was just joking with them the other day. We went out and had fun over here. We did this. We did that. Okay. But did you ever really check on them? Did you ever really go into their mind and see what was going on and harboring in there and pestering in there? Did you really take the time to listen or watch the signs that were being showed? Watch the emotions that were playing out? Did you really take the time to understand how they feel and why they feel that way? I know it's not an easy conversation for people, but when you have genuine loved ones that you care about and you understand them and you know them and you're there for them and you know them like the back of your hand, you should be able to pick up when they're going through their stages. You should be able to pick up when they need that extra support and that extra help. And then, yes, we should stop being closed off and start talking about it more and start expressing our feelings and our emotions more. Then we won't feel so bottled up and so enclosed and so misunderstood. But at the same time, it's overwhelming to do that when you are constantly being misunderstood. You know, when we do take the time to open our hearts and our minds and our souls to other people and let them into our lives, and we're misunderstood or we're misjudged, it just is a smack in the face. Like, see, it just cosigns all the negativity that is running through your mind. It just cosigns everything that is not good thoughts, not good emotions, not good feelings. It just makes everything seem correct when that's just the feeling at the moment. That's just because of what you're going through right then and there. Like, let that emotion pass, ride it out, and you may not even feel as deep as you did when it first came. But because always being misunderstood or misjudged, you don't want to open your mouth and say anything to anybody because you don't want them to misunderstand you. And then you're stuck with all these feelings and these emotions inside, and no one in your corner but just you on your own. And that's a lot to handle, and it can break the strongest person. My condolences go out to DJ's Twitch family and his children especially. I pray that they're able to find closure in, his death. And even though it's not going to be an easy recovery and an easy mourning process, they're going to try. I'm hoping they'll be able to try to just stay with the loving memories, of who he was and what he represented, and not allow what the darkness took from them. Not allow what the darkness has making them go through, because it was there, constant and present. I do pray that he is at peace, because it's a lot. It's a lot. It's a lot to deal with. So I do pray that he's at peace, and finally able to rest. But if any of you out there, please listen to me very carefully. If any of you out there, and this is me being very serious, okay? I'm being very serious. If any of you out there need someone to talk to or someone to understand, please, please, please just book that call with me, and I will sit there and talk to you however long it takes to get your mind right, to get you back on track, to get you feeling alive again and understood and not alone. All right? I am not saying it to try to get you as a client. I'm not saying it to convince you to sign up with me as your life coach. I'm saying it because I don't have people that understand. I don't have that support system. What was that? You dropped my cup holder. But you put your feet up there, that's why. Can you realize my wheelchair is not a toy? If it breaks, then mommy can't go nowhere. Can you please pick up the stuff that you dropped? And sorry. Please, please, please book that call with me. Let me help you get your mind right. Let me help you get back to where you need to be. Let me help you just get out of the dark space, okay? I'm being as genuine as I can be and as honest as I can be. I know what it's like to be alone, okay? And I know what it's like to go through it all by yourself. And I know what it's like to try to cope all by yourself, and that is really hard. And I still struggle, and I still have a hard time. And even though people offer to talk to me and people offer to be there, I am not accustomed to that. So it's hard for me to take people up on their offers. And then not just that, I am a very private person. Even though I'm on here putting out my own information, I am a very private person. I don't like people in my business. I don't like people in my thoughts and my emotions. I like to process them on my own, but sometimes it can become too much to handle. But it's also because I'm not always understood, and people don't always understand my thoughts and how I process things. And that makes it very difficult, for me to communicate with other people, especially during that time frame. But I want you guys to please take me up on that offer. If you're like me, then hey, we would get along just fine. But let me hold your hand if you need it. Let me be there for you, especially if you don't have anybody. You shouldn't have to be alone or feel like you are alone. If you don't, like me, I'm not ever going to call the suicidal hotline. I'm not. That's just me. I'm not going to do that because I don't like being asked questions. I like giving the information that I want to give. I like telling my part that I want to tell, not because you're asking me 50,000 questions. I hate questions. They are so irritating and they're so annoying. But I'm here. I'm only a call away. You guys can find my link at coachingwithlynetteH.com. It's usually in my profile, also as well in my link tree. Like, DM me, let me know you're in need of help. However it is that you need to reach me, email me, Lynette at coachingwithlynetteH.com. Whatever the case may be, let me know, and I will attempt to be there as best as I can for you. Because no one should have to hurt because you're not here anymore. And then and now to the other people, stop taking people for granted. Stop taking people for granted and realize that they can be gone in the drop of a hat. Don't take them for granted because they may not always be here. And a lot of human beings tend to do that. Take people for granted, situations for granted, items for granted. Stop doing that because life isn't promised to everybody. Remember that and keep that in the back of your mind, because being gentle doesn't cost anything. Being kind doesn't cost anything. Being compassionate doesn't cost anything. Being a human being doesn't cost anything. But that's really what I wanted to talk about today. And I really, really, really do hope that if you guys find yourself in a situation where you can't cope or you can't deal, find someone. If it's not me, find someone that can understand. Find someone that can be there for you. Find someone that will show you how much loved and appreciated you are and how valuable you are. Let's not guilt trip people though, because guilt tripping is not going to get that person off that ledge. So you have to be a little mindful of the words that you say, especially when they are on a ledge, because it can turn negative really quick. I keep my grandmother above my headboard for her to watch and guide over me and protect me. Like, I do what I need to do to remind myself I'm in this for the long run. I don't want to disappoint, not even my grandmother, even though she's no longer on this earth. I don't want to disappoint her either. I don't want her looking down on me from heaven and feeling completely disappointed in my decisions and my choices, you know. So just keep that in mind, you guys. Sorry if this podcast was a little too heavy or a little too dark. I just feel that it's important that we talk about it and stop brushing it under the rug. I feel it's important that we start acknowledging it and stop acting like it doesn't exist. And I feel like I'm a good person to help, because not only do I have my life coach training and my techniques, but I have firsthand experience and I have firsthand knowledge and firsthand feelings and emotions and thoughts that can help me help you. So please take me up on this offer if you need it. Book that free call. Don't go through that alone. You don't have to. You do not have to, because you're not alone. I'm here for you. And if no one else is here for you, I am definitely here for you. And I'm a person of my word. I will definitely reach out and be there and support in any way that I can. All right. Now, on another note, if you guys want to hire me as your coach, I'm all for it. I'm working on doing a group coaching for parents. I'm working to do a group coaching for parents. I am still in the process of working out the details. I'm not 100% sure exactly how I want to do it yet. It's just a lot of details like I'm trying to figure out on my own, but I want to try to do it with no more than like 6 people in the group if possible, because I want to be able to provide as much support as I can and not like have somebody else feel like they're being neglected. But I also believe that it's a good experience to learn from each other as well, and each other's stories and trials and tribulations. And not just that, I feel like it's also a good way to bond with other parents that are in your shoes, so that this way you don't feel alone. I was also contemplating on doing a one for mental illness, pretty much for those who deal with mental illness, kind of a small support group, also about 6 to 10 people where we can just vent out our emotions, and I can life coach us through what's going on and what's the trials and tribulations, but this way for no one to feel alone or be on their own. I'm still working the details out. I just feel it like it's in my heart that this is something that I should be doing because I can reach more people and help more people than doing it in a one-on-one. But I'm still working those details out. If you're interested or want some more information or just want to chit chat about it, feel free to book a free call with me, and we can sit down and talk, or email me, and I'm cool responding back to anything. Don't think I bite, you guys. I really don't bite. I'd appreciate if you guys would interact with me more, because I'm here for you guys. Not only am I here for myself and my accountability and my promise that I made to my child, but I am here for you guys as well. And when I made that promise, the day that I recorded my first podcast, my first YouTube, wrote my first blog, posted my first content on any of my platforms, I committed to you guys, and I committed to showing up 100% for you guys as well. So I'm gonna leave it there, and I hope that you guys have a beautiful and blessed day, okay? And don't forget, tomorrow isn't promised to anyone, so please, let's make yesterday jealous and let's make it count. Love you guys. Later, Gators.